Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Robert Newman. I'm the founder of InboundREM, and today I've got a secret to share with you. This secret is going to show you how to rank for AI and Google simultaneously. Before we get into this secret, if you haven't already done so, check out InboundREM.com and check me out as well. I'm one of the leaders in the real estate industry for SEO and AIO services. Now, without any further ado, let's make sure that you understand what this secret is going to do for you. So first of all, for those of you who don't know, AI is a big buzzword in the real estate industry. AI refers to large language learning models, okay? There's 4 major large language learning models. There is ChatGPT, okay? All of you who've ever read a blog or picked up a phone should probably already have heard that Sam Altman has founded a company called ChatGPT. They're on version 5 of ChatGPT. That's important to remember for this particular secret. Gemini is Google's version of a large language learning model. Copilot is Microsoft's, and Perplexity is independently owned and run. The reason I'm telling you what they are instead of AI is because each one of these models has the ability to learn. But guess what? If you want to learn in the digital age, guess what you have to do? You have to have access to a database of information to learn from. This is really important as it relates to this particular secret. Remember that in order to learn, you have to have a database to learn from. This particular secret, when we say rank you in Google and AI simultaneously, we mean ranking you in all 4 of these AI models at the same time, despite the fact that in theory, each one of these models would be learning from someplace different. Let's get into that. ChatGPT notoriously has just basically been scouring the internet. Now, they can't necessarily pull from the Google index universally in order to get their data. Can anybody guess why? Well, obviously that would lead to a lawsuit. So what could they do? They could build their own search engine, basically, another tool that indexes the web, and then they can index the web and take that information and learn from it. They can do that. And that's probably what they did. Gemini is the Google tool. So Gemini is able to use the entire Google index, which is without question the largest index in the world. Okay, they have the best learning source by far. Copilot, while not insignificant, they've only gotten 9% of the search volume. They haven't made the same investment in infrastructure, which means that they don't do as many crawls, which means their index isn't as big, and it's certainly not as reviewed as Google is. So they also had their own source of data. And I don't know where Perplexity pulled from, but probably did the same thing that ChatGPT did. And the same thing could be said of DeepMind, who probably used something along the lines of Baidu, which is the Chinese search engine, as a place to learn. All right, so all these sources are learning, right? Well, you're a real estate agent. What does that matter to you? What secret is that? If any of you have picked up a newspaper or a blog, you probably have been able to figure that out. All right, well, drum roll. As I've said before on camera and in one-to-one meetings and meetings with other business owners and real estate marketing company founders like myself, I've said to them, listen, what makes InboundREM and me valuable is the fact that I've looked at thousands upon thousands upon thousands of data sets over a 16 or 17-year career. The data has revealed the secret that I'm going to share with you from all of my customers who are getting calls from AI. And these calls, by the way, in case any of you are curious, so far the closing ratio seems to be 30% or better. That's not a lead, that's a deal. Okay, so these leads are highly, 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 highly qualified. And in order for you to understand that, I need you to understand how people are using these tools, ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, and Perplexity. They're doing larger, more sophisticated, in-depth searches than ever before in history. I myself use these models oftentimes to do searches that are paragraph long. Like I was consulting with somebody today, and one of the searches that we tested was best realtor in Cape Cod for single-family homes that are going through probate. Okay? That's the kind of in-depth search that people will do using these tools. So by the time your name is served up, and by the way, most of these tools, when they serve up a result, only give you a couple of selections. Now, Gemini is the exception. They give you 10, just like they always have. But ChatGPT and Copilot and Perplexity sometimes give you as little as 1. Okay, so they do this deep, super specific search. And if you're the only name served up, that's right, you guessed it, you'll probably get a call. Okay, so what's the secret? Well, the secret is this. To the best that my access to these hundreds of customers and things have done, because our customers right now, if I was to tell you what the #1 producing section of our lead generation company is it's probably these AI search results. Lots of people getting lots of calls, and when they get them, wildly qualified, easy, well, it's never easy, but easier to close. So, how are they getting them? Well, that's the magic of all of this. When these large language models like Copilot and ChatGPT and Perplexity were getting developed, there was obviously already a hands-down leader in terms of the information and search game, and that was Google. Okay, that's Gemini. So they're the leader, and everybody knows what Google is looking at when it comes to ranking people that are service providers. Now we finally start to get into how this impacts you directly, because real estate agents fall under the umbrella of being a service provider. So Google was always looking at how many directories and important high relevance pages do you have up? Your Zillow profile, your Rate My Agent profile, your Yelp profile, your Facebook business page, your Yahoo business page. How many of those things do you have? How many really highly credible ones and how many in general, so less credible ones? Everybody knew that this was a primary factor, about 20% of how Google would measure if you were a reputable provider of services. They also look at your Better Business Bureau, okay? And then, and you've heard this before, reviews. Everybody knew that Google was leveraging Google reviews heavily to decide if somebody was credible, okay? Now, ChatGPT specifically doesn't have access inside of an index of all those reviews. All they could do is crawl the web and find what they could find. Gemini has access to all of the directories and reviews work that they'd already done. Copilot had their stuff off Bing, and again, not so sure about Perplexity. Here's what I know for a fact, and this is the secret. These companies, all of them, decided to use the same metrics for AI results as Google was already using for Google business page results. So in other words, the metrics that Google used to serve your name up, like if it was like best real estate agent in Los Angeles or real estate agent in Van Nuys or qualified real estate agent in Van Nuys or most experienced real estate agent in Van Nuys, all of those searches that mentioned a profession and a location, we already knew how Google was operating. And all these tools basically decided to replicate it. Now, the reason that is important is that today, right now, in 2025, if you're going to call into me and say, what is the fastest, easiest way to rank in AI? Well, it's going to be, let's rank you for your Google business profile, because naturally the things that you do to rank for that will also get you ranking in AI and Google at the same time. It's the same effort. There's only one small little variable, which is Copilot, And now remember, I said earlier on in the video that the version of ChatGPT is important, and it is. Because ChatGPT and most tools, it would not surprise any of you, I'm sure, if I said that Google has spent billions of dollars building their index. ChatGPT is a fairly new company. There's just not the amount of time for them to have crawled the web in a significant way. So they don't have as many directories and reviews. And some of the ones that they're pulling when they list them are weird sites that you've never heard of, that you may not even have known that you had a profile on. So ChatGPT's results are a little bit more unpredictable. Gemini's results will match right up with what you're doing in Google. And why is that important? Well, those of you who follow the news will know that Google recently launched Nano Banana. Now, Nano Banana is part of their AI kit, and basically what it does is it alters and edits images in a very automatic and funny way. In the first week, their Google Play Store downloads were over 22 million. Overnight, Google became the most adopted AI model in the world. So Gemini, and this comment about directories and reviews and them ranking the same, it's really important. Basically, the best opportunity that you have to rank in all these models without having to break the bank or worry about AI or focus on 9 different things is actually just focus on the same set of activities that rank your Google business profile, which is directories and reviews. Mostly. There are other things, posts and things like that, but none of the models, from what I can see in the data I've collected, are necessarily following things like blog posts in order to decide if you're a reputable service provider. Google does a bit, but who knows about ChatGPT, who knows about Copilot, who knows about Perplexity? Google definitely uses content and how often you're posting as relevance. Google also uses user behavior. How long do people spend? But guess what? Good reviews, in-depth reviews means people spend a longer period of time in your profile, so for Google, once again, the activity is exactly the same. Get good reviews, get deep reviews from existing clients, talk about case studies where you've sold listings, and you're pretty much bulletproof. You can be sure that you are now moving in the direction of ranking for both AI and Google. Now, my last comment to you is this. I've always focused on these things, coached my clients, told them what to be focused on. So the people that are seeing results with me right now are all people that have been working at this for a little bit, and their results are light years ahead of anybody I've talked to in any other industry. We're talking 2 of the people that I am thinking of are having their best years ever right now. And think about that. In this environment, they're having their best years ever. And all of it is mostly due to AI and getting calls from one of these 4 business models and like large language models, and they all get calls from all of them. So I know that the bleed is real, that there is synchronicity. But if you decide that you're going to call us or try to schedule an appointment with me, just keep in mind, this is a baseline effort that you probably have to keep continuing for a while, because ChatGPT won't look for a new data set until they release ChatGPT 0.5. Gemini is probably updating in real time. Copilot, don't know, and Perplexity, don't know. So your best bet is that if you were going to see ranking, it's probably going to be when all of these large language models update. It's not a secret, but it is a tip to all of you. If you commit to these things, make sure that you make a long-term commitment. Think of it as a habit, like walking or exercising or eating right. You do these things, and eventually you will probably end up light years ahead of your competition, and you only have to focus on the same things that you would for ranking in Google. If you have any more questions, if this raised more questions than it did answers, go ahead and look in the description of the video and see if you can find a link to my calendar. Go ahead and book a call with me, and I'd be happy to walk you through it. My name is Robert Newman. I've been your guide today for the secret to ranking in AI and Google simultaneously. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it.